The election was a huge mandate, in my view, that President Obama, Speaker Pelosi, and Majority Leader Reid were not taking the country in the right direction. In fact, now I voted for the Republican running for the House in the U.S. 5th District of Virginia. A key factor in many of the Republican campaigns, which gave them a very healthy majority, was the focus: I am not part of Obama, Reid, Pelosi. And it didn't get much deeper than that. The guy that took my place, I asked him what he was going to cut. He said congressional salaries. It never went any further than that. Let me tell you, you're going to have to cut all the agencies, and you're going to have to cut defense some. Now, I know the Republicans, most of them took a no defense cut position. But you're going to have to cut nearly every agency in the federal government if you're going to go to a no deficit situation. And let me say, I support a balanced budget amendment. But you don't have to have that amendment if you've got the courage and fortitude to cut and make some people mad. And it will make people mad, but for America to get on the right course, that's what we have to do. And there are three areas where I am doubtful that Republicans, and I'm just using them because they are now in charge in the House, and I know the Democrats want term limits. I fully support term limits, and I would be very pleased to see the major parties adopt term limits. I don't think they're going to do it. If we get term limits in this country, I think it's going to have to be through the Constitution Party and people that think like we think, in that public service should be for a short period of time, and your focus needs to be on what's best for the country, not how I'm going to get reelected in 2 years. Another area that I do not think that the next Congress will really focus on, I think they will probably stop amnesties and things like the DREAM Act, which are rewards for illegally coming into the country. But will they truly stop illegal immigration and reduce legal immigration? And I can tell you long range, and the politically correct do not want to hear this, if we don't reduce so much immigration into this country, stop the illegal and reduce the legal, the burden to the taxpayer will continue to grow, and you will have more liberal philosophy coming into this country. Most of the new persons coming into America come from socialist countries. Now, you may not like Obamacare, but their thought about Obamacare is it doesn't go far enough. And I don't want that philosophy controlling the United States of America, but we are on a slippery slope toward that being the case. To reduce legal immigration, I have several suggestions, and these are not all new. One, end diversity visas. I'll be anxious to see if the House passes that. That lets 55,000 people a year into the United States by virtue of a lottery, mostly from Asia, Middle East, South America, and Africa. Reduce the number of asylees and refugees. But you say, oh, they can't go back to their home country. And Obama's aunt got, I've forgotten whether it's asylee or refugee status. We are giving her $700 a month, according to news reports, for housing. She gets Medicaid. She gets food stamps. Now, I really think if Obama wanted to step up to the plate, he'd pay these things instead of having the taxpayer of the United States of America pay. But I want to point out, most asylees and refugees get those things I just read off. And you know who's paying them? The taxpayers of the United States, mostly long-term citizens. Get persons to come over. Most don't have anything. Much. A lot don't have. I don't want to say most, a lot don't. And they qualify for just what I said, Medicaid, a monthly payment, and a housing allowance. In-chain migration. Under current rules, if someone comes to America, then they get nieces, nephews, aunts, uncles, first cousins, second cousins in a number of cases get to come on in. It doesn't stop. You've got to change that. And I salute Phil Gingrich from Georgia, whose legislation for chain migration is still in committee. I'll be anxious to see if it comes forward now in the new House of Representatives. Birthright citizenship has been in committee for several years. If you come to this country illegally, and you've heard me say this before, you can have a child, and then that child is an automatic citizen. That child gets Medicaid, the mother gets Medicaid, gets food stamps, and SSI in most instances. And that is a huge cost to the taxpayers of the United States, and it is the wrong magnet. Clear Act. Clear Act is a bill that's been before. I want to see if that's going to go forward this year. Clear Act says we're going to encourage the states to do what Arizona did, and the federal government, the state government, and local governments will all attack the problem of illegal immigration in a unified effort. It's been in committee. I'd like to see it go forward. Lastly, I'd want to mention reduced green cards. Unemployment, follow me now, unemployment in this country is 15 million people right now, 15 million. We've got at least 8 million illegally in the country that are working. This year we allowed in, that's illegal. Jump now to legal, green cards, 1.2 million green cards this year. Of that number, 800,000 roughly were coming in to get jobs and were not family reunification, or that's their term, or a fiance. I don't disagree with that. With a few exceptions, I say we need to have a moratorium on green card legal immigration until the unemployment level gets down to 5 or 6%. When you add the 8 million illegal with almost 1 million legal, and I'm not talking about the guest workers and temporary workers, that would be enough if U.S. citizens had those jobs to put our unemployment level down to 5 or 6% instead of 10%. And that's what Barack Obama and both parties in the House and the Senate should be doing to solve our unemployment problem. Thank you again for your efforts this year in promoting constitutional party candidates who want to stand up for the Constitution. And thank you for not caving in to political correctness. And thank you for having the notion and the position and philosophy that we should not be afraid in the United States of America to say United States citizenship should count for something.